Hello students, welcome to Affairs Cloud. My name is Vikas. So friends, we have an application by the name Careers Cloud which you can go and download through the Play Store. And once you have downloaded, you can log in with your Gmail ID. And why I am suggesting you this application, because this is the one-stop solution for all the current affairs. This is the best of the best application and the platform where you can enhance your learning through help. Here you will be provided with multiple courses. Here you will be provided with multiple options of quizzes, and even you will be provided current affairs on daily basis. PDFs and quizzes will be provided to you on daily basis, both in Hindi as well as English. Here you will be provided current affairs with weekly basis and monthly basis also. Here remember, once you have done watching our video, then you can log in through this application, take out the PDF, read that PDF and go through the quizzes. That will enhance your preparation. Same you have to do for weekly and same you have to do for the monthly also. In monthly you will be provided with the top 100 important questions PDF and video also, that will enhance your learning, and it will be a very beneficial and important video for the revision perspective. And not just this friends, apart from this we also provide you banking and economic questions. We provide you state current affairs such as of Uttarakhand, UP, Tripura, Telangana, and many more. Not just this, apart from this we also provide you topic wise current affairs, and the topics that we are providing you are really important. These topics are such as national affairs, international affairs, important days, sports, defense, science and technology, apps and web portals, obituary. These are the important topics that are being asked in various exams across India. So these are the topics that are must and should be covered and will be beneficial for the preparation of the students. So such friends, I'll highly suggest you to watch our video, as they will be very beneficial for you in the long.
Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you are all good. So students, in this video we will be discussing important current affairs of 12th of May. The session will be really important and beneficial for all of you, so stay tuned till the end and do take notes, as they will be helping you in your preparation. So let's start. First is national affairs. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi have launched various projects worth 5,500 crore rupees in the state of Rajasthan. Right? If we talk about Rajasthan is considered to be the state that has topped in terms of solar energy. Correct? Now the question is, what are the various projects that we can see? So some of the projects you can see here is that he laid the foundation stone for the redevelopment of Udaipur Highway. Correct? For the redevelopment of Udaipur Highway. Then he laid the foundation stone. Correct, not for Udaipur Highway, he laid the foundation stone for Udaipur Railway Station. Correct, first thing. Then remember, he laid the foundation for the road construction for the upgradation of 2-lane project in Udaipur as well as Raj Samarnath. Correct. So coming back, he laid the foundation stone for railway station, as well as he laid the foundation stone for various other highways also, of various other 6-lane highway, 2-lane highway, that would be dedicated for better connectivity. Correct. And this amount, that is 5,500 crore rupees, was spent in Rajasthan. Next is Harit Sagar Guidelines 2023. They were launched by whom? And what are these Harit Sagar guidelines? First of all, who prepared these guidelines? This question can also be asked to you. So there are multiple questions from this particular question. Right? But first, what is the main objective of this Harit Sagar guideline? The main objective of these guidelines is to minimize the waste through reduce, reuse, repurpose and recycle to attain the zero waste. I repeat, what is the main objective, or we say what is the aim here? To reduce the waste material, right? As the name suggests, Harit Sagar, Harit is green. So here we can say reduce, recycle, repurpose and reuse. All right, and these are to basically attain the zero waste discharge. I repeat again, reuse, reduce, recycle and repurpose. These are the 4 R's now you can say of the main of this Harit Sagar guidelines. And this is basically to make our environment more environment friendly and to more green, and less waste should be there, because we know now if you take case of water bodies, right, be it ocean, seas, rivers, you will be finding a lot of pollution, a lot of plastic, a lot of waste material in those rivers, in those water bodies. So in order to clean them also, we need to recycle, we need to collect all those garbage, we need to reuse it, all right, and we need to repurpose it. Correct? Now coming back, Harit Sagar guidelines. These were launched by whom? They were launched by Sarbandana Sonowal ji. They were prepared by whom? They were prepared by, or which ministry prepared them? They were prepared by which ministry? Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. Alright. And the main aim here is to achieve zero emission or zero carbon emission goal. What is the target of India to achieve this zero carbon? It is 2070, that is net zero carbon by 2070. If we talk about Kerala, Kerala is planning on achieving this zero net carbon by 2050, and they plan on shifting to 100% renewable energy by 2040. Correct? So this is your Harit Sagar guidelines launched by Sarbandana Sonowal ji. Here you can see Union Minister Shri Sarbandana Sonowal launched Harit Sagar guideline, that is the Green Port Guidelines. They were launched by the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways to meet larger vision of achieving zero carbon emission goals. Correct? Next is who launched Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. I repeat, Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. This is the scheme launched by whom? Correct? So remember, this is an Anganwadi scheme, right? And this is for early childhood care and education. Correct? I repeat, Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. As the name suggests, that you will be getting right amount of food plus study also, right? You will be studying there. If you remember midday meal scheme, what was midday meal scheme? Midday meal scheme is basically to provide food to school going students so that they do not have to skip schools in order to earn their meals. So government is providing these meals so that more and more people, more and more youngsters can attain or to come to schools, be it for the food, but they will also be getting education there, right? So this Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi scheme was launched by whom? It was launched by Smriti Irani. Correct? Also remember Smriti Irani, who is the minister who comes under the Ministry of Women, Child and Development. Alright, she have launched this Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. This is a flagship program of the Ministry of Women, Child and Development. So question can be asked, by which ministry it was launched? Ministry of Women, Child and Development, right? And it is basically used to strengthen ECCE, that is your early childhood care and education, right? This is a component of Mission Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0. This was launched during a national event organized by Ministry of Women, Child and Development for strengthening the ECCE in Vigyan Bhavan. If we talk about Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi, it is a path-breaking ECCE program that will ensure India has the world's largest universal high-quality preschool network, that is suggested by NEP. Now if we talk about NEP, National Education Policy, alright, it was first came in 1968, then it was launched in 1986, but the second one was edited in 1992, and the third education policy came in 2020. Correct? Apart from this, remember, there are a total of 13.9 lakh Anganwadis across India, and Anganwadi is basically a type of rural child care center in India. Right? Also, here Smriti Irani stated that 600 crore rupees is being proposed to be allocated for the training under the Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. Correct? And under this initiative, every child would be provided with at least 2 hours of high quality preschool instructions on daily basis. So this is your Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. Next is Ministry of Finance reduces e-invoicing threshold to 5 crore rupees from 1st of August 2023. I repeat, Ministry of Finance have reduced the threshold of the tenure of the companies that are mandated to generate electronic or e-invoicing for all the B2B, that is business to business transactions, to 5 crore from 10 crore that was earlier. All right, and this will be with effect from 1st of August 2023. Currently, businesses with turnover of 10 crore rupees and above are generating e-voice for all B2B transactions, and now it has been extended to 5 crore rupees. What is this e-invoicing? Basically, it is a system of raising invoices under which invoices generating by one software can be read by another software, eliminating the need for any fresh data entry or errors. Correct? The lowering of this e-invoicing threshold will expand the scope of MSMEs under e-invoicing. Now they will also need to implement e-invoicing. Apart from this, the phased implementation of e-invoicing was envisaged to reduce disruptions, improve compliance, and increase the revenue. Then, failure to comply with e-invoice mandate, that is, the supply had been made without an invoice recognized under the GST laws, a minimum penalty of 10,000 rupees will be applied. Correct? Also remember, the union government has plans to further reduce the threshold to 1 crore rupees in future. Moving on. Next is how much percent of India's total villages achieved this ODF plus status under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Phase 2. So Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Phase 2, correct? This was launched. Now the question asked here is how much percent of Indian villages are deficit free? So a total of 50% of the Indian villages achieved ODF free status under the second phase of Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. An ODF plus village is the one that has implemented solid or liquid waste management system in addition to maintaining their ODF designation. Correct? So far, more than 2.96 villages have declared themselves ODF free plus, and with a significant step towards achieving the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Phase 2 goals by 24-25. Right? The top state in terms of ODF free plus or ODF plus is your Telangana. Right? It is 100% ODF free state. Right? Moving on. Here you can see India achieves another major sanitation milestone of 50% villages are now ODF free or ODF plus. Next, where was the 35th corporate exercise was held? Not corporate, it is your Corpat. CORPAT. Now what is this Corpat? Corpat stands for Coordinated Patrol. So recently the 35th edition of Indo-Thai Corpat. Where was this held? The 35th edition of Indo-Thai Corpat. So the 35th edition of this Indo-Thai Corpat was conducted between Indian Navy and Royal Thai Navy, and this exercise was held on the or along the international maritime boundary line in the Andaman Sea, right? That is in the international maritime boundary line that is in the Andaman Sea. This exercise, that is the 35th edition of this exercise, was conducted. That is Indo-Thai Corpat. Correct. Then from Indian side, remember INS Kesari took part in this particular exercise. Alright, so question can be asked that which Indian naval ship took part in the 35th edition of the Indo-Thai Corpet exercise that was held along the IMBL in Andaman Sea? It is your INS Kesari. Moving on, next is related to banking and finance. SEBI allowed the FPI's direct access to exchange traded commodity derivatives. I repeat, SEBI, they have allowed the stock exchanges to extend the direct market access facility to the foreign portfolio investors. This will help in for participation in the ETCDs, that is your exchange traded commodity derivatives, with immediate effect. This decision has been taken on basis of representations received for enabling DMA facilities to foreign portfolio investments in ETCDs and deliberations by CDAC. Apart from this, remember what is this DMA that I was talking about? DMA is your direct market access. This direct market access facilitates the clients or a broker to directly access the exchange trading system through the broker's infrastructure to place order without manual intervention by the broker. Correct? So remember, SEBI allowed stock exchanges to extend DMA facility to foreign portfolio investors also. Direct, remember it. Next, India extended how much credit line, or India has extended the how much line of credit for Sri Lanka until March 2024. So remember, India has extended the line of credit by $1 billion, and this is till March 2024. Thus by providing a backup infusion of dollars for essential imports. The line of credit is about $4 billion in emergency assistance extended by India during the peak of Sri Lanka's financial crisis in 2023, and it was supposed to end in 2024 March, but now it has been again extended by $1 billion. Correct? There is about $350 million left of the credit line that can be utilized as and when needed. Correct? Who is the president of Sri Lanka? Ranil Wickremesinghe. Correct? What is the currency that we are using here? It is your Sri Lankan rupee, but there is a high chance in future that Indian rupee will be used in Sri Lanka. Next, you can see India extended the $1 billion credit line for Sri Lanka by a year until March 2024. Next is RBL Bank. It goes live on the direct tax collections through TIN 2.0. I repeat, Mumbai, Maharashtra based RBL Bank, formerly known as Ratnakar Bank, has gone live with direct tax collections on the behalf of the Government of India through the new Tax Information Network portal, that is TIN 2.0. This is the second such offering from the bank following its empanelment or by the RBI as on agency bank to conduct the banking businesses for the central and state governments. Correct? The bank already offers customer duty collections through a direct interface through a Indian Custom Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. So coming back, remember, RBL Bank goes live on direct tax collections through the TIN 2.0, that is your Tax Information Network 2.0. Next is your Unnati subsidiary Aura Finance received the NBFC license. NBFC is your non-banking financial company license, and Aura Finance became the first firm to receive the NBFC license in the agri-tech space. Aura Finance will enable the company to meet the financial needs of those in the agriculture sector like farmers, retailers, traders, brands and food processors. Unnati has a network of over 1 lakh registered retailers and traders who use the UStore app to engage with the farmers and manage their agri-business on day-to-day businesses. I repeat, Unnati subsidiary Aura Finance received the NBFC license. Correct? Next, apart from this, remember, Aura Finance will enable the network of Unnati to avail of various credit products which are simple, fairly priced and easy to use. So remember, Unnati subsidiary Aura of Aura Finance has received the NBFC license. So remember, important. Next, AIBEA to launch bank clinic to help retail customers with grievance redressal. I repeat, AIBEA, that is All India Bank Employees Association, the oldest and the largest national trade union of bank employees in India. They are planning on launching an online bank clinic to assist bank customers with grievance redressals. Right? Apart from this, once a customer files a complaint with the bank clinic, AIBEA's team will take up the complaint with bank to address the issue. The bank clinic aims to assist customers with their complaints and give feedback to banks on areas where there is a deficiency in service. Bank clinic will be one more channel through which retail bank customers can get their grievances addressed. Right? So coming back, AIBEA, that is All India Bank Employees Association, they are launching a blank bank clinic that will be helping the retail customers with their grievances. Next, NIIF have appointed whom as the CEO and MD on interim basis. So remember, NIIFL, that is your National Investment and Infrastructure Fund Limited. This is a collaborative investment platform for international and Indian investors. And remember, who has been appointed here as the MD and CEO on interim basis? He will be Rajiv Dhar. Correct? Rajiv Dhar has been appointed as the interim CEO and Managing Director of NIIFL, and this will be from with effect from 11th of May 2023. Rajiv Dhar will succeed whom? He will be succeeding Sujoy Bose, who has been serving as the MD and CEO of NIIFL since 2016. Correct? If we talk about Rajiv Dhar, he has more than 30 years of experience and he served on the investment committee for all the funds managed by NIIFL. Correct? If we talk about NIIFL, it was established in 2015. Managing Director and CEO now on interim basis will be Rajiv Dhar and headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Next, you can see Rajiv Dhar here in the picture. Next is Wesley W. Simina, elected as the 10th President of the Federated States of Micronesia. I repeat, former Speaker Wesley W. Simina was elected as the new and the 10th President of the Federation of States of Micronesia during the first regular and the 23rd FSM Congress in Micronesia. Correct? Directly remember this. Moving on to science and technology. ISRO, they have successfully tested the semi-cryogenic engine at IRPC Mahendragiri. Before moving on, remember ISRO recently launched 2 satellites of Singapore using C-55 PSLV C-55 rocket from Satish Dhawan Space Center, that is in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. Now the news is that ISRO has recently successfully tested the semi-cryogenic engine at IRPC in Mahendragiri. Alright, at Mahendragiri. What is this IRPC? IRPC stands for Integrated Engine and Storage Test Facility at the ISRO Propulsion Complex, that is in Mahendragiri. Alright, Mahendragiri. So what is it that ISRO, they have successfully tested the first integrated test on an intermediate configuration of 2000 kilonewton thrust semi-cryogenic engine, that is the newly commissioned cryogenic integrated engine and storage test facility, and it was at ISRO IPRC, that is ISRO Propulsion Center. Correct? Moving on. Next is SpaceX. Owned by Elon Musk, SpaceX has launched 51 Starlink satellites and landed Falcon 9 rocket on a ship at a sea. I repeat, it was your SpaceX. They have launched 51 Starlink satellites into space, and these Starlink is basically to provide internet connection even in the remote areas, and they are setting up their own constellation of satellites, right? And Falcon 9, whose first stage was successfully landed to Earth, and the satellites are destined for insertion into low Earth orbit, right? This is done. Next thing, remember recently Falcon 9 have landed their rocket back to the Earth on a ship on a sea. Correct? Next is related to sports. India has won 17 medals at the Moscow Wushu Stars Championship 2023. Indian Wushu athletes, they won a total of 17 medals, that is 10 gold, 4 silver and 3 bronze. They were at the Moscow Wushu Stars Championship that was held in Moscow, Russia from 2nd to 8th of May. Correct? Important, take a note of these, that how many medals were won by India during the Wushu Moscow Wushu Championship. A total of 17 medals were won here. Next is obituary. Mexican 5-time World Cup veteran Antonio Carbajal has passed away. I repeat, Mexican football goalkeeper Antonio Felix Tota Carbajal Rodriguez has recently passed away, and he was the first footballer to play in 5 FIFA World Cups. Correct? So, 5-time FIFA World Cup veteran Antonio Carbajal has passed away, and he was from Mexico, and he was the goalkeeper. Next, when do we observe National Technology Day? So, National Technology Day is observed on 11th of May every year to celebrate and recognize the achievements of scientists, researchers, engineers, and other people involved in the field of science and technology. The day also marks the anniversary of the Pokhran nuclear test that was held in May 1998. Correct? Then the theme you can remember for this day, it is your School to Startups, igniting young minds to innovate. I repeat, School to Startups, igniting young minds to innovate. This is the theme for the National Technology Day 2023. This day was initiated in 1998 by then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, right? And the first edition of the National Technology Day was observed in 1999, that is on 11th of May 1999. Here you can see National Technology Day on 11th of May. Next is state news. Assam's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma launched Ayushman Assam scheme under the MMJ in Guwahati. I repeat, Himanta Biswa Sarma, Assam Chief Minister, have launched Ayushman Assam scheme under the Mukhyamantri Jan Arogya Yojana that is aimed at promoting accessible and affordable healthcare across Assam. I repeat, in order to provide affordable healthcare across Assam, this scheme, that is Mukhyamantri Jan Arogya Yojana, under this Mukhyamantri Jan Arogya Yojana scheme was launched, that is Ayushman Assam. So what is the name of the scheme? Ayushman Assam. This was launched to provide accessible and affordable healthcare across the Assam state. Right? So friends, these were your important current affairs. Now let's go for a quick revision. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched various projects worth 15,500 crore in Rajasthan. Sarbandana Sonowal launched Harit Sagar Guidelines 2023 to achieve zero carbon emission goal. Union Minister Smriti Irani launched Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi for ECCE. Ministry of Finance reduced the e-voicing threshold to 5 crore, that was earlier 10 crore from 1st of August. 50% of India's total villages achieved ODF plus status under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Phase 2. 35th Indo-Thai Coordinated Patrol, that is 35th edition of Indo-Thai Corpat was held at IMBL, that is in Andaman Nicobar. SEBI has allowed the FPI's direct access to exchange traded commodity derivatives. India extended $1 billion credit line for Sri Lanka by an year until March 2024. It was supposed to end in March 2023, but it has been extended till March 2024. RBL Bank goes live on direct tax collections through TIN 2.0. Unnati, that is a subsidiary of Aura Finance, has received the NBFC license. AIBE will launch bank clinic to help retail customers with grievance redressal. NIIFL appointed Rajiv Dhar as the interim CEO and MD. Vasily W. Siminia elected as the 10th president of the Federal States of Micronesia. ISRO successfully tested the semi-cryogenic engine at IRPC Mahendragiri. SpaceX launched the 51 Starlink satellites and landed Falcon 9 rocket on a ship at a sea. India wins 17 medals at Moscow Wushu Star Championship 2023. Mexican five-time World Cup veteran Antonio Carbajal passed away and National Technology Day is observed on 11th of May. Assam's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma launched Ayushman Assam scheme under the MMJA in Guwahati. Right? So friends, these were your important current affairs for the day. Now let's shift to the revision part. First, IIT Madras partnered with DRDO to develop sensor technology for underwater communication that will be used by Indian Navy. Next, KK Shelja has authored a new book that is My Life as a Comrade. This is an autobiography, and alright, this book is basically on the life of KK Shelja. Right? Next, Federal Bank, they have launched a e-bank guarantee in partnership with NESL. So direct question can be asked that which bank has launched EBG, that is e-bank guarantee in partnership with NESL? It is your Federal Bank. Next, Rukat has partnered with SBI for easy loan to buy Sabji cooler. I repeat, in order to buy Sabji cooler and to buy that it on EMI or loan, Rukat has partnered them with SBI Bank. Next is Saksham Portal. What is this Saksham Portal and who launched it? Saksham is stimulating advanced knowledge for sustainable health management. Alright, it is a learning management information system and it was launched by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Next, which became the first state to enforce right to walk? It is your Punjab. Important, right to walk. So these are your important revision current affairs, friends. We have seen today's current affairs. We have done with the revision part. Now it's time for your homework. Let's start. First, Docky Land Port, which was recently inaugurated, is located between India and which country? Second, which institution has set up the Agriculture and Market Information System? Third, which Indian naval ship has been decommissioned after 36 years of service? So these are your 3 homework questions. I hope you have understood the assignment. All you have to do now is like the video and comment below and let us know what are your views for the same. If you want us to continue, then I want to see maximum like and comment here so that it will motivate me to make better content for you on the daily basis. So that's all for the day, friends. Thank you and have a nice day.
That's all for the day, friends. I hope you enjoyed the session and you can follow us on the YouTube channel, as well as apart from YouTube channel, you can go and follow us at Affairs Cloud Telegram channel. And if you have any queries related to the content or the courses offered to you or the payment which you did on the application, you can contact us on the number provided, that is 7677333862. Apart from this, friends, you can follow us on the Facebook as well as on Instagram handle, that is affairscloud_official. In the end, friends, if you use a code that is Vikas10, you will be getting an additional extra 10% discount by using this code Vikas10. Also, if you have any problem regarding the course purchase, any problem regarding to our application, you can contact us on the mobile number, that is 9677333862. And if you want to mail us, you can also mail us on support@affairscloud.com, and I assure you that our representative from us will be contacting you soon and resolving your issue.